No, I just wanted to pop in. First to say hello to all of you. It's been a while since you've done this leadership program. I think it's 60 days, no? A couple of months, basically.
Yeah.
See? So I just wanted to step in, just to welcome you to this session. I understand that the topic of the call today is about emotional intelligence, and I'm not going to go into the details of what the topic is. What I wanted to emphasize is that we're doing this program, Leading for Zero Hunger, and of course it's not something that we can do in 3 days over, a workshop that you did 60 days ago. The program is about trying for us as individuals to change the way we manage, and I really do think that it's important, 30 days, 60 days later, just to reflect on some of those things that we've learned, just so we bring it back in our minds. It's only by thinking about something a month later that you remember what you did in the workshop, you start thinking about it again, and then you can start thinking about, did I apply it, did I not? So I think the purpose of these follow-up calls is not really to question you on, did you apply emotional intelligence last week, but really for us to get a refresher of what the journey was about, what the workshop was about, and for us to spend a bit of time every so often to rethink about us as leaders, as managers, by discussing with the team some of the topics, no? So I'll stay in and listen in on some of the stuff. I'm happy to discuss some of this with you at some stage with all of you. I'd really like to get your thoughts on this journey as well. You've been through it, you're still going through it. So I'm more than happy if you want to drop me an email or whatever, to really get your feedback on do you think this is something that's made a difference to your leadership style over the last couple of months, no? So that was basically my introductory remarks, I suppose. I'll leave you in the good hands of Charlotte, and all the best, yeah?
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
So I think, as Alex mentioned, the purpose really is to reconnect all together and to create for you, again, a little space and little time for all of you to pause and to reflect on what you have been doing since you attended the workshop back in June. I think what I would like to ask you, and this is moving to the next slide, is to understand from your side. It has been more even than 60 days. So can a few of you maybe share, with the group, what did happen since, the last call, and what have you been practicing? What did you do that was different in terms of, leading your team or inspiring your team, using, the tools you have been taught in the workshop, whether it's coaching, the elevator pitch, the decision-making model. So I think the purpose here is to take, a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes to hear from you. What did work well? What were some challenges you encountered when you practiced, you implemented what you went through during the workshop? So Carmen, would you like to start and share, something with the group?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. So can you tell us a bit about, one example, something you did do differently, something you have practiced back to the workplace?
Okay. For example, I to practice the patience and tolerance to work better among the team. Uh, Always trying better understanding of different situations and viewpoints from especially my that thing I supervise uh, and especially accepting the different points of view uh, and to support my team in in their drives that can uh, enhance with different vision the uh, different topics and mainly the relationship with the government.
Great. And so, what have you observed? So if I understood well, you really leveraged the different points of view, and you were supporting your team in their different visions.
Yes.
So what has been the impact on your team members?
I think we are improve the team working. And I think I feel we are achieving easier the goals. We are starting the consulting with the government to prepare the CSP, the new CSP for in Ecuador, and these tools I am applying for better relationships and I'm thinking we are a big team with the DCD, with the CD, and other colleagues, and we have to change the mind, the chip. Hello.
Yes, there is some background noise, but it's okay, Carmen. You can continue. Wait, you put everyone on mute. Carmen as well. Can you unmute? Carmen, sorry. Can you hear us? Hello? Carmen? I think you went on mute. Okay, but I think this was a great example, Carmen, of how you really leveraged, the different points of view of the team members and how this had really an impact on improving the teamwork and creating better relationships. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anyone else who would like to share, what he or she has been practicing and did, do differently after the workshop? I know Rias could recently as well hear us, so Rias, I'm not sure if you would like to share, something you did differently since you have attended the workshop.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes, definitely. I'm on a TDY right now in Nepal, and I wrote an article. I not only did the things differently, but I also, in my article, I mentioned what I observed is good leadership. So definitely, I think motivating people is the biggest thing that I have done and seen. Also, some other people doing it, which actually helps people show their best. So that part of leadership, I think I have practiced.
Great. Great, thank you, Riaz, for sharing this. This is quite, motivation for us as well. So it's great to hear, that it has been useful and that you did apply and do things differently back to the workplace. Thank you for sharing that. Can we have maybe 2 or 3 other examples? I know we have Sofiane on the line, Raoul. Tyra as well.
Good morning, everyone. It's Raul from Honduras.
Hi, Raul.
Hi, everyone. Well, one of the things that I did differently in these days was that instead of giving all the solutions, I managed to involve more of my staff, to let them participate more. And one of the things that I changed is that I asked more questions and let them give possible solutions to their daily work. As a result, they were more empowered, and also they were more involved with other units, and this helped understand everyone else's work and why they need everyone else to do the job right. Also, what I practiced a lot was empathy, and also with not only with the staff but with people outside from WFP, to know the work that what we're doing, and to let and also to know what other people do, like external companies. And as a result, we're having like 3 possible donors for our project here in the region.
Great. Thank you, Raul, for sharing this. This is as well very helpful to hear that you really did practice coaching by not giving all solutions, but really listening, asking questions, involve people in finding their own solutions. Thank you. This is very useful to hear. We have as well Francesca on the call. Sofiane, I think we have Gabriela as well, who could now, you can hear us now, I think. Elia.
Hello, Elia.
Hi, Elia. Good morning.
Hi, yes, sir. Yes, I really would like to share about these 60 years, month, sorry. I have, in this period, I've been able to delegate to my colleagues, and also they are be able to take the decision, and I think our building team is working much better than 2 or 3 months ago.
Great. This is powerful, Elia, to hear. So it's really about, again, delegating, trusting, empowering your people, and you feel it makes people even performing, better, right?
Yes, they are, and also they are more involved. And I really feel more satisfied about our work, because our unit is growing up very fast, and it helped me a lot also to take another duty, but also to let the team write by themselves.
This is great. Thank you for sharing this, Elia.
This is Francesca. Can you hear me?
Yes, Francesca. Hi. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Hi, everyone. I think just to share some different examples in my case, as of course, being a regional officer, I don't have very big teams to manage directly, honestly. And also, I think that my practicing was more on my own skills and my self-awareness of my characteristics that came out also from the DISC exercise, that I found very helpful during the training. And on one side, the month of the 60 days, the month immediately after the workshop, I was on home leave, so it was a good time to think, not a necessarily good time to practice at work. But I think that mostly I tried to really practice the listening skills, which is still very difficult. Again, I see what Alex said about, you can't really see a change in the few days of the workshop. I don't think you can't even see that much of a change in a few months or in a couple of months. In my case, one. It's a long process, and for some of us, we're just at the start of it. So, but I think it was very helpful to trigger thought and to trigger self-awareness of certain characteristics we have at work and how we take decisions or have others take decisions, how we will motivate our junior staff, particularly who comes to us for support. So in general terms, I think I'm looking much more into myself rather than yet bringing it out to the others so much. Over.
Thank you, Francesca. So what I heard you saying really is about looking into yourself, and that the DISC helped you doing this, to really reflect on your own, maybe traits, preferences, and skills. And you mentioned as well that you really do some listening, although you mentioned it's not always easy. So this is great to hear as well. Thank you. One last example of someone who would like to share with the group, something different he or she started doing after the workshop. I know we have a Parkai 1 as well online. Tyra? Gabriela? Sofiane? Okay, so then, feel free to, to even share a bit later in this call. But I think the essential message that was already introduced by Alex in the opening is really about creating, time to keep the momentum. And as you know, the Leading for Zero Hunger team, we set up those calls. So today it's the 60-day check-in call, and then you will be booked for, the 90-day check-in call, which will be the last one that will be formally set up. But it shouldn't stop there. So I think that the essence and the key of setting this up is just to start, as Francesca mentioned, start the journey. And we do hope, even if it's not with the whole group, but even if it's with your, with one person or a smaller group of people you did exchange and share during the workshop, it's really the purpose for this to continue, even informally in smaller groups. So we encourage you to keep, the good, let's say, spirit that was created in the workshop, and to keep on engaging and exchanging with each other. I think it's essential. It's really valuable, to have peers and to be able and feel safe to share and exchange. I want as well to share with you that by now, more than 200, WFP leaders have been through the program. So since the Panama session, we had an additional 2 sessions, one in Dakar early September and one in Joburg last week. And there will be another 4, that will be delivered before end of this year. And we are working as well to continue delivering sessions through 2016. I'm just sharing this with you so that you feel, the purpose really is to have a multiplier effect and to make sure that among the leadership community in WFP, progressively leaders will speak, this same common language. And when we mention, purpose in the context of leadership, that leaders will know what we refer back to, and will understand as well how this can really help them to, inspire and to be motivated themselves. So I think it's important for you, being part, of the Leading for Zero Hunger, to know that the journey is continuing and is offered as well to some of your colleagues and peers. Is there any question about, the program itself and the future, delivery or participants before we move to emotional intelligence?
No.
Okay, great. So the topic of today, and this is really what we call a bit, a very quick food for thought about emotional intelligence. The purpose is not to give you in-depth, very comprehensive overview of emotional intelligence, but The purpose is just to put forward the importance of emotional intelligence and to relate it back to what you have been going through during the workshop, so that you can, consciously use some of the tools to further, develop and further fine-tune your emotional intelligence as a leader. I think based on a psychologist who did a lot of research around emotional intelligence, his name is Daniel Goleman. Emotional intelligence is composed of two essential components. The first one is, as Francesca mentioned, and I'm sorry, Francesca, I keep on going back to your example because I think it's extremely important. The first component is about self-awareness. It's really about being able to understand, how you as a leader react, how do you feel, understand your emotions, and as well understand how this can affect people around you, whether it's partners, your team members, peers, and as well your direct line manager. This is the first essential component. The second one is empathy, and this was mentioned, I think by Raoul. So it's really about being able to, put yourself as a leader in the shoes of the people you interact with, and making sure you do listen. You do understand, needs and priorities and points of view of others without judging, but just being open, for the different points of view, as mentioned by Carmen as well. So this is really the two most important components of emotional intelligence. And I think important as well to mention is that, again, based on research, it was clear that leaders with a high, emotional intelligence are usually successful in most things they do. And basically, very simply, it's explained that, emotionally intelligent leaders get answers to their emails much more quick. Emotionally intelligent leaders, they receive help when they reach out for asking for help. And very simply, it's because, people approached by emotionally intelligent leaders, they just feel better, they feel good. They feel they are understood, they are valued. So it's a very simple equation, and it's really proving simply that emotional intelligence can really serve you in your role as leaders in WFP. And I think the good thing is that emotional intelligence can be further developed. And I want just to reflect back, on some of the tools that were presented during the 3.5-day workshop in Panama. Because the way you can further, fine-tune or develop your emotional intelligence is, first of all, as mentioned before, by knowing yourself. And all of you, took the DISC. And I'm sure that, reflecting back on your DISC profile can help you identify, what you feel comfortable with and what you still need to pay a bit more attention to. Especially when you compare your, let's say, comfort zone, your preference with, some preferences of the people around you. I'm sure you remember the exercise about the DISC, in which, the D people who are more direct, effective, result-oriented, once they are done, even by writing down on the flip chart, what's good about working with these, they are just done quickly, effectively. While when you looked at the S people who are more into compromising, accommodating, they needed, much more time. They want to give, space for anyone to express his thoughts, find a compromise, etc. So again, using the DISC, and making sure it can guide you in understanding yourself and as well in understanding how others around you need or want to be approached is a very useful tool to further fine-tune your emotional intelligence. This is one. Another tool that made part of the preparation items was this informal 360. So I'm sure a lot of you did reach out to colleagues, to team members and to line managers to receive feedback and to make sure that they were clear about how others around you perceive you. And I think, another way of further developing your emotional intelligence is to do this kind of 360 on a very regular basis, to make sure that you provide yourself with some honest and regular feedback. I just want to remind you with the Johari window, and the power of having others to help you, uncovering your unknown. So this is really helpful to ask for feedback so that you can get some insight a bit in your blind spot. So this is another way, you can use the tools offered in the Leading for Zero Hunger to increase your emotional intelligence. I think coaching, as mentioned by a few of you, it's really helping others finding the solution and not advising or putting forward the recommendation. It's really offering others, a chance to come up with their own solutions and to come up with, successful ways of tackling challenges and problems. This is another way, you can really work on your emotional intelligence. And then one last thing that I want to share as well, how to improve your emotional intelligence, is about keeping your emotions under control. So really what is called, in the emotional intelligence language, the self-regulation. So a lot of us in different contexts and in different areas, we do face very frequently, sometimes difficult and sometimes even very challenging situations. We all have to deal with them. And those situations cannot, in essence, be changed. I mean, it's a given, it's the reality we face. What can be in your, circle of control is the way you react against those situations. So it's really about your reactions and the emotions you express. And an emotional, intelligent, leader, when he faces or she faces challenges, issues, problems, she will react, in a controlled way. So the reaction will be a calm, under control reaction, and it's really affecting the outcome and the solution. So the key here on emotional intelligence is being conscious that yes, it's an issue, it's a difficult situation, and making sure you self-regulate, you control your emotions, you react, in a calm manner, so that you have a positive at the end, or as positive as possible outcome and results. So I think, among others, these are, a few tools and concepts that were discussed during your workshop that by applying them will help you as leaders in WFP further improve your emotional intelligence. I know the preparation, you were invited, to rate yourself on emotional intelligence. Can anyone maybe share whether, you don't have to share your score, of course not, but maybe share a few thoughts about emotional intelligence and how you apply this, how this is helpful for you in your role as a leader in WFP? Over.
Riaz here.
Hi, Riaz.
I just want to talk about this self-regulation. I think is very, very important. And one experience that I would like to share with the colleagues is that we normally have the tendency to react to every positive or negative message, whether written, email, or verbal message of colleagues or team members. In my experience, if we learn to control ourselves, regulate ourselves on these things, we can avoid a number of troubles and we can solve a number of problems just by knowing when to react and when not to react. I think this is one example of leadership. Those who play cricket, they know we don't have to hit every ball that comes our way. Mm-hmm. So this is something that I've experienced, practiced, and also seen in those successful leaders, that they know exactly when to react and not to react.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I fully agree. And it can really tremendously impact, the end result. If, as you said, if we don't, as leaders, react in a more impulsive, emotional way, but more controlled, and calm way. So, anyone else who?
And I think.
Yes, go ahead, Riyad.
I think the most important thing is people like to control. I think if we learn to control ourselves, it's easy to, within brackets, control others.
Mm-hmm. And as well, a role model. So a lot of people will see, that as a leader, you keep your temper, you just reflect, and you act more constructively and not impulsively. So I think it sends out a very important message as well, and it's role modeling, leadership behavior. Anyone else who wants to share something, maybe about, as well, the ability to understand emotions in others and to show, empathy and to adjust and flex as well, because given, the DISC exercise, I think one of the key messages really is about knowing yourself better and knowing how you prefer to relate and how you prefer to engage with people is one thing, but the other key message was as well, how can you be more conscious about the preferences of others?
Can I go on then?
Yes, of course, Riyad.
Okay. I'll talk about self-awareness. I think this is another important point in leadership. I think at times when we have pressures, it's important sometimes to accept and admit that what our current condition is. And sometimes, we keep on pushing ourselves, and it took us to a point where we are no longer effective. Mm-hmm. So at times, if we are self-aware, we can slow down sometimes and stop and regain energy. It's just like in football. In a soccer match, you don't always move forward. Sometimes you take the ball back in your own court and you regain strength, re-strategize, and make a new move. So I think this would be an example of self-awareness, and this can be more effective at times than only keep on pushing.
Great.
Hello?
Anyone there? Yes, hi.
Trying to talk and I realized my microphone was mute. So, yeah. Hi, this is Hewan.
Hi, Hewan.
Yes, and actually it was so interesting because when I saw this, I just had an experience which I can share with you about the empathy. Because I always believe that whatever we do, it is always related also what happens outside of office, meaning, your personal life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I can say I'm pretty good at controlling my emotion. And so whatever happens at home or, outside, I control so I make sure it doesn't affect my work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I know there are a lot of other people who cannot do that. And then I noticed one of my staff actually just recently, who actually is a very good work and hard work, doing excellent work, has been not performing as himself as like before.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, okay, maybe, first I was trying to coach him, like say, okay, but then I thought that, okay, there's something more than that, right? So I called him and then I said, okay, I feel like there's something's going on. It seems like you are not yourself because first, so to me, unless I understand what's going on also, their personal life, sometimes it's difficult to know why they are not performing, right? But also at the same time, I don't force people to tell me unless they wanted to, say, right? Because I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything, and I'm just their supervisor. But I encourage them to share if they have any issues outside office which affect their work. So, and fortunately, actually, he did share, and he had actually serious issues. So we discussed, and then we talked, and also I encouraged him that, I understand his situation, but at the same time, he need to also. I think at that time I was actually giving him advice because I think that's what he needed also, which I didn't want it. But so I kind of, advise him that, I mean, you need to try to solve the problem that you have at home, as soon as possible, because it is actually affecting a lot your work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it was actually nice talk, and, I think that since last week, he's trying. And I can see, he's trying, and then he's trying to discuss. Yeah. So I think it is always important as a leader. I mean, we don't have to force them to tell us, like, what's going on in their personal life. But also, if you sense it, I think it is good for us to encourage them to, like, tell you, so then, you can see how you can work together with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I did, and it actually, I mean, he's a good guy, so I know, and he's a really hard worker. He's like, he's actually excellent work. So I don't really want to see him, like, going the other way around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a nice experience. And then after I did that, then I saw this 5 components of emotional intelligence. There was empathy. I'm like, okay, yeah. So sometimes I feel like, maybe I should do more of this, even if I don't have a lot of time. But also at the same time, sometimes it is difficult because some people are more like private, and they really don't want to share. Like me, actually, I don't share my personal problems either.
Yes, but I think it's a great example of how, you build trust as well, and how you give people the opportunity to share. At least they feel they are safe, and there is this possibility, this opportunity, which is great. So I think it's a good example really of showing, openness, and how you can as well, build trust and make people feel it's safe for them to share even outside work, thoughts or challenges they face. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share, thoughts or an experience in terms of emotional intelligence?
Hi everyone, this is Raul.
Great, we have 2 people at the same time. I think we had Raul and then as well someone else.
No, I'll let Raul go. This is Riaz again. I can share one more if there's nobody else.
Okay, go ahead, and then we have the other person as well sharing right after you.
Go ahead, Raul, first.
Thank you. No, in regards with self-awareness and self-regulation, I just think that it's very important that we have to do it on a daily and very regular basis. And the most important thing is doing it when we are in a very stressful situation, because when you are calm, that's easy to be self-aware and self-regulate. But in times when we are in stressful situations, that's when we tend to forget to be that way. And that's when we tend to explode and explode with other people too.
Yes, you're totally right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Hi. Other important role of a leader, I think, to improve our emotional intelligence is to show responsibility. For example, I prefer to take the responsibility for my team's action when things go wrong, and then look for a solution like team with all people of my team, and I feel I am supporting my team, and the team is better and feel better about the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because they feel maybe it's your solution, in a very inclusive approach, right? By involving them, so it's not imposed, it's not pushed out. It's created by all of you. it's a very inclusive approach, so people feel more engaged and responsible for it at the end.
Yeah, and the first step is to take the responsibility from me, like all team.
Mm-hmm.
And then to look for together among all team a solution and empower the team in their solution, but no delegate the grounds for them.
Mm-hmm. Great. This is very true, I think, and good to hear from you. Thank you. I think we had one more person who wanted to share some insights. And I can see Riyad as well asked if he can take the floor. I mean, go ahead. This is your time, so please feel free to share and exchange.
Yeah, I just wanted to share one experience, one tip actually of this on the social skills, in the office. For instance, I personally don't know the extension number of any of my colleagues. What I do is that I walk over to their offices, and I think if we think like leaders and not bosses all the time, it helps a lot to make and strengthen relationships with staff. And I have always received very positive feedback from different colleagues about this gesture, that I don't always call them over to my office. I walk over to their office and staff feels good about it. It helps build and strengthen confidence within the teams. Over.
Can I put in?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree with Riyaz. I do the same thing because, I sometimes have to call people when I have something to show them in the computer. But otherwise, I prefer to, go. If I need to talk to somebody, prefer to go and, go to their desk and talk to them. Because also the reason is since, otherwise I would never move out of my office from 8 to 7 in the morning until 7 in the afternoon until, unless I have a meeting or somewhere, because I don't even go out for lunch. So I completely agree with you because it's not like, we are, okay, it's not like we are the boss or we are the supervisor, we have to, they have to always come to our office. So it's more like, it's, I go and, it gives me some exercise and, it gives me, I said also it gives them feeling that, I'm with them, not like, yeah, I'm your boss. Yeah.
Yes. So this goes back, to the principle that anyone can be a leader, and it's not something related to a position, function, or grade. I think this is really true.
Yes.
And
I think what we need to understand is that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
A leader can be a boss at the same time, but not every boss can be a leader. Let's put it this way.
Yes, you're right. No, and I just wanted to share with you something we did do in the last session. We did invite, participants to, at the end of the workshop, to evaluate themselves on a scale from 0 to 10 about what is their influence as a leader in WFP. And I must say it was really inspirational for us to see that the majority of people did, put in the rate between 8 and 9. We had even a few people within their area, of influence. So we don't ask, everyone to feel he can totally change, how things are done in WFP. But within his area, within his team, within his country of his sub-office, it was really powerful to see that people felt empowered as leaders and that they did feel they can, they have an impact, they can change, they can lead things to happen. So this is really great. So I think before we close, I just want to reiterate that I highly, encourage all of you to keep in touch with each other, and I'm sure a lot of you do. But please keep on doing it, and whatever channel is the most appropriate for you to do so. I mean, the essence for us is that you really leverage this gift, if I can say, of having now this network and being, together, whether it's calling each other, dropping, a link message to each other, sending an email, participating, in the 90-day check-in call. But I think it's really critical and very useful for all of you that you keep connecting and that you keep on, sharing and exchanging. And on this note, I think what I would like just to remind you with is that, again, a formal channel we have set up for you is the leadership community. For example, Riaz has shared with us an article he wrote about leadership, which is very interesting. So I would encourage, all of you to read it and share your thoughts, thinking, so that Riaz and all of us can benefit from the exchange of ideas and thoughts. And please as well feel free to let us know if you as a person, as a leader, you need a bit more tools, a bit more insights, you want some readings about a specific topic, or you are looking for a video, whatever, please let us know. We do have, some resources. We don't put everything we have on the platform because otherwise, it becomes a laundry list of endless items. But please let us know. This community needs to be useful and helpful for you. So by telling us what you need, we can make sure we pick up what's the most relevant and helpful for you. So if anyone has, a last thought or thing he or she would like to share, please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to thank again you, the Leading for Zero Hunger team. I think it's a great initiative, and we should make the best out of it. And I hope all especially the CDs and leaders at higher levels who have not been through this kind of courses before, they would benefit from it. And on the other hand, the colleagues who are the future leaders, they will particularly benefit from it, especially those who have not been through this kind of courses. Thank you.
Thank you, Riaz, and thank you for your participation and contribution to all of you. Stay safe, and we speak again in 30 days. So speak to you soon. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you to all.